Today's show is brought to you by the truth about how to save money and time, amazingly simple business success tips. It was written by Lisa Ducharme, the 15-minute result coach, and Brenda Warren, the solutionist. Also, we're blessed to have it be brought to you by the Daddy Daughter Dynamic, The Path to Healing, a book where 13 powerful women recount their stories and their journey to healing, self awareness, and most importantly, self love. These books are coming out soon, but today it is all about how or the truth. I always try to say how first, don't I, Lisa? You got to get on me about that, Lisa. Really, you do. You're watching Talk to Me with Brenda, the solutionist, and Lisa Ducharme, the 15-minute result coach. And we are excited to have you here with us today as we talk about our newly published book that's coming out next in a few weeks. It's going to be released on October 28th, but we're doing a book launch this coming Tuesday, October 11th. And we are so excited to bring this book to you. And Lisa, thank you for joining me today. I know you're really busy, but I really thought it was important that we took the time to talk about this amazing little book that we wrote because we had spent time saying, boy, I wish we had known this. And then we sat down one day over a cup of coffee and say, hey, let's do a book about the things we wish we knew. So what were your first feelings when you got your proof copy of the book that we finally are about to release? And I want everybody to know the holdup wasn't Lisa. The holdup really was me as I battled with different things because I actually had too much on my plate. But I always say divine timing is everything. So this is the perfect time for us to release the truth about how to save money and time, amazingly simple business success tips. All right, Lisa, what's your thoughts?
Well, I will tell you, I was excited. What was really interesting was it's amazing when you see something on the computer and then you get it in your hand.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize when we did the reflection pages, because one of the things you and I always talked about was how important it was for people to implement. And
Mm-hmm.
people aren't implementing. And we really need people to take action and implement. Otherwise, it's a waste of their time to even bother reading the book or picking the book up. I can't tell you how many books I have that I have not implemented with. So we added that reflections page, and I didn't realize what a difference having the reflection pages in the book did. Because it really, when I opened the book and I read it, and I thought, oh, wow, I was like really impressed.
Isn't it funny to go back and see something you were doing? Well, I took the liberty of making some slides so we can kind of like go through the book so people kind of get a feel for it. Because one of the things we wanted people to do was actually use the book and not just let it sit on their desk or on their shelf. Like a lot of books, a lot of us that are into personal development will purchase every book that comes out, 15 steps to this, 17 steps to the other, and then we never really use them, as you say. That's why we created the get results. You must understand your why, which is our get results section in the book. And Lisa, I was so excited about that particular section because it's a one-stop shop for people that may say, I don't have time to read the whole book. They can read those few pages and literally figure out which section they want to go to first. And we're going to talk about the get results section a little bit.
Absolutely. And that's exactly why we did the get results section, is because this book, the way it's designed, if you are a beginner, you really want to read it from beginning to end, right? But if you've already started your business and you already have it going, you're like, well, why would I buy a book if I already have it going? Because it's got great tips in there. A lot of times we miss foundational pieces, and this will actually help with that. So by doing how do you get results from the book, we listed each chapter, and the reason that we did it was so that people could really understand. The chapter 1 is all about finding the why. You know, a lot of times we don't know what our passion is. We can say what our passion is, but we really never take that deep dive. And
Mm-hmm.
that's all about chapter 1. So we tell you what the problem is, that businesses are not going well or getting stuck, can't get motivated. they need to pivot, etc. But the solution is you determine your why, and then we tell you in the get results what the solution is so that you can decide whether or not you want to jump to chapter 1.
And so that brings me right to the next slide, which I had made for you, which talks about the problem, and then that leads to the solution. Because inside the get results section, that part that clearly lists out a problem and then gives you a solution for it. And like, for example, this particular problem is not in the book, but I'm going to bring it up because it was something that was addressed in our recent workshop. We had a workshop called Popular to Paid. And it was a really good workshop. And one of the problems that we see is a lot of entrepreneurs, especially those that have started that have a social media connection, Lisa, you know, and I was one of them. I was very popular, had a lot of followers on Instagram, lots on um, TikTok and
Clubhouse.
Clubhouse. That Clubhouse, I have thousands on there, which is, it's amazing to me how from platform to platform you can have, like on YouTube, I have a very small following, but on Clubhouse is rather large. But depending on what platform you're on is your following. Thank God I'm not tied up to the likes. That's something else we talk about a little bit in here. But the point is, the problem is if you're popular but you're not paid, because you have everybody thinking you're, what is it, ball and shot calling, but you're really not making any money. The solution was to take our workshop, which taught you how to actually be popular and paid. And we got a lot of great success out of that, which is why I like this portion of the book, because just like the workshop, it gives you several problems and then solutions to work on them. And I really like that portion, which brought us to the next section you talked about just a little bit earlier there, Lisa, which was self-reflection questions. And I know you went into a little bit about it, but I want to say for the people that are listening, self-reflections was really important to me because as a journaler, having that ability to look at a business problem and then use my journaling talents to really flesh that out was really helpful for me to kind of write out my plans. You know, they say, write the vision, make it plain. And having each chapter, having a reflection was one of the things I really like. So you have the book, you have your problems, your solutions, you have your get your results, and then you have the opportunity at the end of each chapter to really reflect on what we discuss with you in the book so you can see what actions you can take. I know you've already touched on it, Lisa, but why did you really want that in the book? Because we talked about it back and forth, not wanting this to be a journal, but knowing it was important to have that piece in this book.
And that's actually true. In fact, I do want to bring up that on October 11th, when we do the launch, for those who buy the Kindle version, because we're going to have a special price on it, they'll actually get those reflection pages as a PDF. So because those are so important for me, it was, I need people to take action. I am the kind of person, my strengths, my strategic, my deliberative strengths, it's really all about seeing people take action. And because a lot of times you read the book, but you don't know how to take action. It's like, okay, well, I just read this. Now, what do I do with what I just read?
Mm-hmm.
And because you're a journaler and because you kind of got me into journaling,
Mm-hmm.
not as much as you by any stretch of the imagination, but I learned the value of actually writing things down. So each chapter for the reflection, it really gives you an option. You can do some, all, or none. There's only 3
Mm-hmm.
reflections. Everything has a quote because I'm an avid believer. You know, somebody's always said something good about every single topic out there, and
Mm-hmm.
we really like that. So we tell you that what the reflection questions are. So for the why, the first question is, did you ever have a why?
Mm-hmm.
And you can reflect on whether or not you had one. If you do, what happened? Is it still your why can be replaced with passion, why can be replaced with anything that you want, but ultimately it's why you started your business. It's the things that keep you going. And I find that if you reflect in it and if you look at the book and you get information from it, that's really where the value is going to be.
And you know, Lisa, for me, the why was a really big deal because a lot of entrepreneurs are coming from the place that they have to do what they do because it is a financial necessity. But some entrepreneurs we found don't have that issue. We've met entrepreneurs that are in a good place financially and they just wanted something to do. And it was more of a hobby than a business. And then somewhere along that journey, they decided, I think I could actually make this a real business. And now they're doing it from a place of not having the stress of needing the money, but knowing that they could take their time and really get it, which why this book is so instrumental in that, because even the people that don't have to necessarily do it for their livelihood will find pieces in here that will keep them from making a lot of the mistakes like we made. And I will tell you some of the ones that Lisa and I laugh about today is all the software we bought thinking you have to have it all. Yeah, I don't. But the book is going to talk to you about that. The social media platforms, there are tons of email services that will handle your automated email stuff. I didn't know that. So you can get so caught up in the shiny object of this new program, this new thing, but you got to do your research. And we talk about that extensively in the book. The next part of the book that I wanted to talk about, Lisa, was the bonus resources. OMG. I love the resources that we put in this book and our commitment to putting resources in every book we do. When you helped me with Soul Searching, we had all those resources for veterans, which I just love. And the resources that we have in this book that are for veterans and for everyday people and just for businesses in general. Do you want to talk a little bit about that and why that portion was so important to you personally?
Yeah. So for me, I am so resource heavy. One of the things that I have found is there's so much going on and there's so much information out there, but you don't know what you don't know. And it's every time you turn around to find something, you stumble on something else. And it's like, oh, if I would have just had that. And I first started many years ago looking for resources specifically for veterans. So you'll see in the
Mm-hmm.
resource book, we have a section just for veterans resources. We start with everybody, and then at the last two pages, we put veteran
Mm-hmm.
resources. But I realized how much duplication was out there.
Yes.
And it's like if I would have known the Wheel of Life was out there, which is one of the resources that we give everybody, because I'm a firm believer that if you don't know where you're going, if you don't know what your end goal is, you're not getting anywhere. You can get all the things done, but without knowing what that end goal is, without knowing how to have a balanced life. And the Wheel of Life kind of gives you that feel.
Mm-hmm.
And it's free. And a lot of these resources are free. Now, not all of them are, but I realized that a lot of people, when I'm working with the businesses, especially when I had to help people pivot during COVID,
Mm-hmm.
people did not even know about SCORE or the small business development centers, excuse me, or the SBA. They knew about the SBA, but they didn't realize if they were a small business, they could get help for free from the SBA.
Mm-hmm.
These are folks who are experts in what they do, and they
That's
offer,
in the book.
and that is in the book. And
Okay.
in fact, it's on page one of the resources because it's one of the higher, or page two, because the first page is just the big picture, but
Mm-hmm.
page two, because it is so important to utilize the resources that are out there, the people who are experts who can help you.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times we keep going in our business and we're struggling and we don't know. We've been in business for 10 years, and all of a sudden it's like, well, wait a minute. Why do I need help? I've been in business for 10 years. Who can I go to?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Small Business Development Center is there for you regardless of what point you are in your business. They not only can help you start, they can help you from the idea stage all the way until growth stage and beyond.
Mm-hmm.
And for our veterans, the same thing. I mean, we have the Institute for Veteran and Military Families, who has an arsenal of veteran business available assistance. And they've got all these different programs that veterans can apply for. And it's fascinating to see all of these terrific resources that we don't know about.
And Lisa, the other part that I love about the bonus thing is it clearly highlights how many opportunities there are to get resources that will not cause entrepreneurs a dime. You know, when we say that the truth about how to save money and time, we're serious. You know, Lisa is a 15-minute results coach. She's all about time management and making sure that you can maximize your ability to get more done in less time. And get it done correctly. That is the other part of her training, because I've benefited greatly from her tutelage. Now, I would also say that if you're listening to this and you saw the title, you said it's great about the book, Brenda, but I came today to hear some tips about how to save money and time. And that's my next slide, where it says, by getting our book, you're going to have freedom to enjoy your best life. You can play with your guinea pig, because I'm going to say guinea pigs no matter what, because I like guinea pigs, your cats, your dogs. You can study, travel the world, go bowling, golf, do leisure activities like read, play music, or just lounge, exercise, do some investments, take a vacation, because you're going to save time, you're going to save money, and that is what you need to do as an entrepreneur. We all have, what's that thing you say about the minutes we have in a day, Lisa? I love that. I never remember it, but I love it.
So we all have the same 1,440 minutes in a 24-hour period, 480 minutes in an 8-hour day. And it's really important. And I think that this is probably the most important thing I can say that most people forget, which is we can't get it back.
Mm-hmm.
Once those minutes are gone, they're not renewable. We can't go back and make an agreement with anybody and say, I just need that 10 minutes back that I don't have, because that 10 minutes can make a difference. And one of the things that we talk about is time management in the book, and how to really think about making time visible,
Mm-hmm.
because that's really what it's all about. It's all about recognizing you want to save time and money. You have to start with time. And I realize that we start with money on our book. And the reason we start with money on the book is because really money is what's getting everybody's attention. Time rarely gets anybody's attention. Time is just like breathing.
Mm-hmm.
It happens. We have no idea that it's happening. We're not paying attention to it. We go from appointment to appointment to appointment. And then somebody comes in and then they give us something else to do. And somebody comes in and they give us something else to do. And then we're off schedule.
Yeah.
So paying attention to your time is important, because when those 480 minutes are gone out of your 8-hour day, you don't get them back.
No, you do not get them back. And you know, Lisa, one of the things that we had discussed when we were doing the book was why it was important to get this in entrepreneurs' hands, but to get them to understand that it's not a book that you read once and put down. It's a resource. We wrote it in a way that you can refer to it repeatedly. And we wrote the book, but I can tell you that I often go to the book and look for stuff, because I don't remember all the resources. But just the other day, I wanted something from Fiber, and I thought, oh, I know where that information is. And so I got the book, and I didn't have to go look for it, because like many small business owners and entrepreneurs, you have lists, you have things, and maybe it's not in the most organized way, but you have it. And then I normally would have spent hours researching for it. Now all I have to do is pick up this book where everything is compact, and I too refer to this on a regular basis and get the information. So I was glad that we built a resource that not only others could use, but that we could use. And I thought that that was really one of the nice things about our book. It's a really easy read. It's a small book. It only has, what is 113 pages. So it is something that you could take, and then if you're a fast reader, you can read it in a day or even over a couple of days, whatever you choose. But we do hope that you will use it as a resource. And Lisa, I want to know, what would be your number one time management tip you would like to give someone that may pick up the book?
So I don't know if it's in the book, but I'm pretty confident it is. But my number one time management tip is actually to make time visible.
Mm.
So what I mean by that is I want you to recognize how, oh yeah, it is, because I got the time wasters challenge
That's
in
right. Time waster challenge in there.
there. Yeah. So what I want people to understand is where their time is actually going. Because so many people are so stressed and they say they don't have time to do anything, their calendars are full, they're bouncing from meeting to meeting to meeting. You need to really adjust your schedule, but find out where you're wasting time. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying I want you to be spending 8 hours a day doing nothing but work.
Yeah.
But I am saying acknowledge where the time is going. Pay attention. If you're waiting or if you have people waiting outside and they're waiting for you while you're working with somebody else and you know you're running late, you
Yes.
just wasted not only 10 minutes of your time, but you just wasted 10 minutes of somebody else's time. And if you add up all the time that's wasted sitting out waiting for somebody, that becomes a problem if you actually start calculating the time. So
Yes.
start paying attention to time. That would be, I will tell you, making time visible to me is the most valuable time management tip I can give.
Well, the tip I would like to give about money is that you have to get clear about your attitudes and your personal beliefs about money, because your beliefs will create your attitude when it comes to how you manage your money, how you spend your money, how you uh, uh, prevent what is it promote sales within your company, because some people have an aversion to selling, which is a death knell if you're a business, because you have to sell your products and services in order to earn revenue. And your attitudes about money will definitely create some interesting feelings if you haven't dealt with those. And then those feelings will determine the actions you take when it comes to calls to action and um, marketing your business, how you sell, how you train your employees, how you interact with other business owners as well. And the actions that you do or don't take will definitely create the results, good, bad, or indifference. So it's important that you get clear on your money management, lifestyle, and your beliefs. Because if you do not, you will definitely waste money and time. Lisa, I'm excited because on Tuesday, we are going to be opening our book launch for pre-orders on October 11th. That's next Tuesday. We're going to do this at 2:30. You can feel free anytime that day to go on Amazon.com and pre-order your The Truth About How to Save Money and Time, Amazingly Simple Business Success Tips. It will be at a one-time price of 99 cents for that day, as we uh, do our part to make this book available, and then the paperback and the Kindle will release on October 28th. But we hope you will join us on October 11th for the book party and launch, while we talk about how you can save money and time, because we know the truth. We have spent a lot of unnecessary money getting to where we have gotten today. And we want to save you the cost of that. But as we do always at the end of the show here, I want you to tell you how you can tap into getting our book. Number one thing you do is you transform your mindset about you're alone. You're not alone. We've already given you the answers inside of this book so that you can save money and time and not have the stress that Lisa and I encountered as you look for a resource that would give you quick access to the information you needed in a fashion that was easily and readily available for you. You announce to yourself and get some accountability that you're going to be at our book launch on Tuesday, October 11th, and purchase your Kindle version of this for just 99 cents. You won't find a better price for that in a long time for this much information. And then you prepare yourself to get this book with a nice cup of coffee, drink, tea, water, whatever it is. You sit back and be amazed at the amazingly simple business success tips that we placed in this book just for your use. And then I want you to imagine how awesome it's going to be when you realize you really can save money and time by just actually taking action on many of the tips and stories that we placed inside this book as you do your self reflections and become an implementer. And then finally, we want you to nurture the thought that you are not alone and that you will have additional access to Lisa and I when you come hear us here on YouTube, check us out on social media, on our Instagram pages, on Facebook, Twitter. We're everywhere. We're just telling you, we're going to do a global takeover to make sure that entrepreneurs have the resources and support they need to save money and time. Lisa, thank you for joining me today. Do you have any final thoughts for our audience?
No, just if you purchase the book, then we'll give you an email to send us to, or send us an email to show us the proof of purchase. And then we will not only give you the reflection sheets, but we will also give you the pro tips as well, so that you've got something to hold you over until October 28th.
And you can find my email listed in the what do you call it? In the descriptions there, or in my link tree, which is right above it, because it is Face It Friday. And face it, we all need support. You don't have to do it alone. And that's the best part of being a part of learning the truth about how to save money and time, amazingly simple business success tips. And we're glad that we can be a part of your journey to be popular and paid. And remember, the choices you make today will be the reality you live tomorrow. So choose wisely. Be blessed, everybody, and take care.